When we think about ancient trade routes, most people imagine the Silk Road crossing Asia by land. But there was an even more fascinating highway hiding in plain sight, the Indian Ocean, where monsoon winds created nature's own shipping schedule between India and Arabia for over 2,000 years.
That's such an intriguing perspective. How these natural patterns shaped entire civilizations. What drew you to explore this particular connection?
Well, I've been diving into how early Arab scholars viewed India, and it's mind-blowing. These intellectuals like al-Idrisi and al-Muqaddasi weren't just writing travel logs. They were documenting what they saw as the intellectual powerhouse of their known world.
So this wasn't just about trading spices and silk then?
Not at all. Think about this. The entire Indian Ocean trading system operated like a massive ancient shipping network. These merchants would ride the summer winds from Arabia to India, bringing frankincense and pearls, then catch the winter winds back home loaded with precious stones and spices. But here's what's really fascinating. These weren't just one-off trading missions.
You know, I've heard about Arab communities in India, but I never realized how deep those roots went.
Oh, they went incredibly deep. In Bombay, these Arab quarters became like cities within cities. And in Hyderabad, this is wild, Arabs from Yemen actually rose to become military commanders and palace guards. Their descendants are still there today, part of the city's DNA.
That reminds me, wasn't there some special connection between Indian rulers and the holy cities of Arabia?
Exactly right. During the Mughal Empire, Emperor Aurangzeb would send these elaborate gifts to Mecca and Medina. And get this, the Nizam of Hyderabad, who was basically the Jeff Bezos of his time, maintained this incredibly close relationship with the Sharif of Mecca, sending regular endowments to the holy cities.
So these weren't just diplomatic niceties. They were building real cultural bridges.
And speaking of bridges, here's something that'll blow your mind. You know those Arabic numerals we use every day? They're actually Indian. Arab scholars were translating Indian mathematical texts as early as the 8th century. We're talking about knowledge that fundamentally shaped human civilization.
That's fascinating how ideas could travel so far, even in ancient times. How did this knowledge transfer actually work?
Well, imagine this network of scholars and traders working together. Arab intellectuals would translate Indian texts on astronomy, medicine, and mathematics. These translations would then make their way through the Islamic world and eventually reach Europe. It's like this incredible game of intellectual telephone that spanned continents.
So in a way, these ancient connections were actually more sophisticated than some of our modern relationships.
You know what? That's exactly right. When you look at today's diplomatic relationships, they're often built on oil deals and trade agreements. But these ancient connections, they were built on this foundation of genuine curiosity and mutual respect that lasted centuries.
What lessons do you think we can draw from this historical relationship?
I think the biggest takeaway is that lasting international relationships aren't just about economics. They're about creating these deep cultural and intellectual bonds. Those ancient sailors who mastered the monsoons, the scholars who bridged different worlds of knowledge, the rulers who fostered these connections, they were all part of something much bigger than just trade.
That really puts our modern diplomatic efforts in perspective, doesn't it?
Absolutely right. And maybe that's the key lesson for today, that the strongest international relationships are built on this foundation of cultural exchange and mutual understanding. Just like those monsoon winds that reliably carried ships back and forth, these kinds of deep connections can weather any storm.